Greetings, one and all. Welcome back to Dwarf Fortress. Slaves to Armok, God of Blood. All praise be to Armok, for we have returned at last to Dwarf Fortress. And if you look down at the very bottom right, it is a new version 0.40.24. Amongst many changes to the game, we are now going to have awesome trees, and our animals may not die of starvation just by existing, even though we've got massive rolling hills full of grass and vegetation for them to eat, and all sorts of other bug fixes and new features have been added. But the elephant in the room, this is a new version of Dwarf Fortress. It's going to be a new game of Dwarf Fortress. Cattenveer is in another time. Another place, far, far away. Perhaps it is frozen in just a moment of time in that place. Certainly felt that way when I was trying to record the end of the Let's Play. Now, some of you may have spoken with me, or I've certainly answered a couple of questions in the comments explaining why it's been so long since a new Dwarf Fortress episode. And that is because the save game in my previous Dwarf Fortress Let's Play became very bloated and, indeed, extremely buggy. It was quite rare for me to even get through 20 or 15 minutes worth of recording without the game flat out crashing. And unfortunately, when I did, pretty much every time, and this is the problem, because if it was just a case that I just had to keep trying and eventually get it to work, I probably would have, but unfortunately, it would just flat out crash whenever I would save the game and try to exit out. So no progress could be made. The people of Cattenveer were caught in this endless Groundhog Day-like cycle where they would live through a season and accomplish things, fight people. People would die, people would mourn those people dying. And then all of a sudden they'd wake up with only a vague memory of these activities and this time that has passed but yet not passed. And they'd have to live through it all again with slight differences here and there, but ultimately the outcome was always the same. They would wake up right back where they began. It was tragic, really. Nevertheless, we do have some survivors. The children of Cattenveer have managed to flee, and this will be their story. This will be their world. They managed to get on a boat. They sailed across vast oceans, fought sea serpents, dwarvish sort of stuff, slay dragons and all that kind of good stuff. And then they fell off the edge of the world and landed on this one. So, in this episode, we're going to be finding out just what kind of world they landed on. Needless to say, this is a new game, new series, and this first episode is going to be world creation and embarking. The way I'm going to be recording this series is going to be slightly different, and I will cover that shortly. But let's get to creating a new world. There's not going to be any mods. I am going to be using DF Hack right from the onset, so there's going to be tweaks and bug fixes in the code to deal with some of the more mundane and irritating parts of playing the game, mostly UI tweaks and that sort of stuff. I will not be using DF Hack in any way to circumvent the difficulty of Dwarf Fortress. Why play Dwarf Fortress if you want an easy time? That just sounds like craziness to me. But we're going to go through the basic creator world, so no crazy messing around with settings. You can be incredibly specific, and it takes a long time, and generally I've never really gotten good enough with being that specific with world generation to actually make a world that I want. I just throw random things in there and then end up playing whatever world I get. So I may as well just go with a regular create world. Now, world size, the larger the world, the less wars are going to happen. The civilizations will have plenty of room to expand, and there will be wars, but they won't be quite as aggressive as if it was a tiny place. But the problem is if it's too small, and one civilization gets the upper hand, it's pretty much going to steamroll all the others. So I'm not going to go for a medium. We're going to go with a small world, 65 by 65 regions. Each region will have a fairly large amount of actual embark locations on there. Now the history, if we go with very, very short or very, very long, it'll change things quite a lot. If it's a very short history, not much time will have passed since creation. A great number of the dwarves in our civilization will probably be the very first members of their race, created by their gods. If we go for very long, then the wars will have played out quite a lot. There'll be a lot of interesting history, but the world will be a smaller, emptier place somehow. Much like our world has become small and empty. All of the wonder is gone because we've answered so many questions. No, we want somewhere where there's still many questions being asked and very few answers to go around. So medium seems okay, but if we go with short, I think it's going to lead to a little bit more interest. Certainly, it might give us a couple more monsters to play with, because obviously, if people haven't had enough time to go out and slay all the mega beasts, there's going to be more mega beasts to come and wreck our fort. Number of civilizations, very low, medium, high. I think high, actually. Let's pack them in like rats. Encourage them to fight for the scarce resources. Maximum number of sites. Now, this is how many distinct places can exist after world generation. I don't really think I should mess with this. I'll leave it at medium. I'll leave it at medium. Number of beasts. Now, I believe this means large beasts and like mega beasts. We're going to set this to high. We want a dragon behind every mountain and a rock golem underneath every pebble. No, that would be very high. No, we'll leave it at high. So we'll just have a dragon behind every second mountain. Maybe a leprechaun under some of the pebbles, not rock golems. Maybe occasionally some sort of water elemental in the streams. Yeah, that seems reasonable there. Natural savagery. Let's put it at high. We want these to be untamed wilds. And mineral occurrence. We're dwarves. We like minerals. But if you make it sparse, then there's more reason to trade. There's more resource scarcity, so you have to play it a little bit more interestingly. We're going to leave it at sparse, I think. Yes, I like this. I'm ready. Let's click go. Now, this is going to take a while it is building our world. Buzong Sagus, the world of dawn. This is perfect. Our children have landed in a fresh little world. It hasn't been going for very long. They may be the first dwarves here. It's going to be grand. Now, as I was saying, we will be playing this out a little bit different to the previous series in that this is largely going to be a streamed series. I am going to be playing this during streams that I will be more likely starting today. That is Thursday, the 29th of January. My plan is to stream around about 9 p.m. GMT, translate that into your time coordinates as required. And I'll stream for a few hours, however long I feel like in each session. Then I'll condense those down and possibly put in some cuts, or just chop it up into episodic form and just put that up over the channel the following week from when I stream it. So the first episodes, actual gameplay episodes of this that we'll be seeing, will probably be around Monday time, going across that week. Hopefully this will have a few advantages, namely, it will give me immediate feedback, because as you may have noticed in my last foray into Dwarf Fortress, I'm not very good at this game. I have interesting ideas, I've played it a lot, not this particular version, and not the last version either, but I know enough about the game to really enjoy it, and to get stuck in, and to know roughly what I want to be doing. Just the specifics of how to get that done sometimes elude me. And I have no problems with those who are more learned providing me with assistance. So this will offer a wealth of opportunity for audience participation. And you all know how much I enjoy getting everyone involved. Now, our world is actually quite nice. Nice little supercontinent there. Little island over on the southeast. We might actually settle there. That looks pretty cool. We've got quite a lot of interesting areas. Not too many savage, though. I imagine this is savage. The Dark Goblin Pits of Uramaraldus. These are the Goblin Pits, okay. And these are the Goblin Hamlets. And these are the Human Hamlets and Kobold Hamlets. This is fantastic. The Dim Land. Brilliant. Okay. It has been created. It is time to accept. I will, in fact, accept. Now, Dwarf Fortress is going to save all of this information, and then we are going to begin the embarkation. As I mentioned, it will be the children of Cattenveer who have escaped that time dilation shenanigans that has trapped their parents and have fled to a different world to escape the terrible nothingness that is consuming their old one. And as a result, the first dwarves that we create will in fact come from the named children from Cat and Veer. So there will be a bit of continuation. Now, let's get to start playing. We want Dwarf Fortress, of course. Maybe I will even brave adventure mode at some point in this world. Perhaps. I'm not going to make any promises on that one, but maybe. Okay, Dwarf Fortress we want. Processing raw data, loading object files and creatures. So many creatures to be loaded. Ooh. What? What's this? Update. Oh, it's updating the world. Ah, interesting. Very well. I hadn't known about that, but actually, come to think of it, that is something that was in the patch notes. When you leave a fort and then return to it, perhaps because you made a second fort in the world or did something else, took an adventure around, when you come back to the fort, it will have simulated the time of that fort. Now, we have many, many sites, so many sites in these lands. We don't want to really be around them too much, but let's have a look. We've got not too many sites up in this way. I'm thinking, I'm not sure I'm up to taking on terrifying areas, but maybe we should. Maybe we should try a savage setup. That probably won't last very long, I'll be honest with you, but it might be fun nevertheless. So many sites over this part. It seems that most of the world has set up on the west. What about over here? This will be humans, won't it? No? No humans? Oh, there we are. There are humans. We could set up maybe near the humans or the kobolds. I'm not really sure we want to do that. And down here, let's see if there's anyone set up over here. There are, by the looks of it. There are these elves or something. I'm not at all sure. No? Let's see. Movement. It doesn't actually tell me who owns these lands. Not easily, anyway. But I could find out by swapping to, I think, tab. Dwarves and humans over here. Oh, that's fantastic. We would have the humans nearby. That would be great. Let's switch back to that. So dwarves and humans on this land. That is actually going to work out well for us. Dwarves, goblins, and humans. What about up here? Goblins, humans, a tower. Ooh, is that some sort of ancient evil? I imagine it is. And over here, mostly just goblins. Mostly death. Are there any elves? Were the elves wiped out? Oh, we may have generated the best possible world in all of Dwarf Fortress. A world without elves. I can only hope. Though, it would mean that we couldn't chop down all the trees and annoy them into going to war with us so we could kill them. That would be a little bit sad. There's a part of me that would miss them. If only for that. Are they perhaps in the frozen wastes? There's a volcano there by the looks of it. We might want to set up in a volcano. But it looks like we actually don't have any elves. Well, okay, let's have a quick look. Now, if you press F to find a desired location. Right, well, we found somewhere that's evil, but it's got an aquifer. Oh, no, we've got one. We've got two. Fantastic. Okay, let's check this one out. It's terrifying. There's only one biome. There are no trees. Wow, giant. Okay, scarce trees. Still terrifying. All right. Is that just it? I mean, he's got fluxstone, deep metal, shallow metals, very deep soil, clay. Surroundings are terrifying. The brook is the Mired Fischt, the Furchen. The Dunes of Dread. Basically, it's removing all of the vowels to try and shorten it so it can fit, but it's removed too many. I have no idea what it's trying to say. I can see the is going to be the, but Furchen, I have no idea. Really don't. Okay, well, within this little area, how about we have a little look, see if we can find something more interesting. So if we were to move around like this, we would have two separate biomes. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. Ah, yikes, we're moving too far away. Though this one also has it all. Oh, that's interesting. Right, we've got the Hill of Flights and the Dunes of Dread. If we go up, it's still the Dunes of Dread. Okay, well, let's have a quick look at this one. Terrifying, untamed wilds, plenty of trees, reasonable other vegetation, savanna and rocky wetland. You know what? I think this will be where they're going to set up. I know the children were looking for some sort of bountiful Eden for dwarves, but this more or less is. You know, if you're brave and you're just willing to put in a little bit of work, then it should be okay. They'll do fine. They'll only have to fight vampires some of the time. Also, there's a different biome down here. What's this one then? Is it more or less the same? It is temperate, sparse, moderate, untamed wilds. 3 different biomes. I'm not minding that, honestly. So we've got grassland, wetland, and savanna, as well as rocky wetland, savanna, and grassland. Yeah, I actually quite like this. Let's move that across a little bit. Maybe up. Well, the grassland's actually quite far away. Maybe if we just increase the size slightly, we can have all of these 3 biomes. Yes, that looks perfect. The Hill of Flights is the grassland area. It's got the brook, the mired fisht, the Furchen. We also have the savanna and the wasteland. So the Hill of Flights is the grassland and the savanna, and the Dunes of Dread is the rocky wasteland. I think we've found our new home. It is time to embark. You have selected a large area. Choose a smaller area. If you experience lags, you have selected an area that's with salt water. It might be very difficult to survive here. What? What? Why is this... Is that river not meant to be fresh? Well... No, we've made our choice. We're going to embark. We're going to be crazy about this. Now we're going to prepare for this journey carefully. That means I need to decide on the names of our new dwarves, which I will be doing now. And welcome back. I have spent a good hour, maybe a little bit more, poring over the details of this embarkation. I have studied, I've been on the Dwarf Fortress wiki, I've made sure that things work the way I think they're going to work before we set out, because once we leave, there is no turning back. It's do or die for our 7 brave children of Cattenveer. Now, I've gone ahead and I've renamed them all. These are children from Cattenveer, and as was the tradition, their names are a reflection of their parents' names. Therefore, Hamsteroo, the son of Hamster and Lobsteroo. As you can see from the skills here, Hamsteroo will be our cook and will be doing a little bit of butchering as well, and we'll have a quick look at Hamsteroo. I'm not going to read all of this, but it's going to be on the screen for you if you want to pause it and have a proper read of the details. I may go over this in the future. Maybe we will continue with the idea of meet the dwarves, but for now I'll just read out their catchphrase, or what I assume is their catchphrase. I feel well, which is, you know, fairly good, and also some of the more important stuff. He personally respects the development of skill, sees competition as wasteful and silly, and values peace over war. What an admirable fellow this Hamsteroo has grown up to be. He dreams of crafting a masterwork someday. Perhaps you can make some sort of masterful meal. I'm not really sure, Hamsteroo. We'll keep our fingers crossed for you. Sir Chaotic, the son of Sir Blackwood, and Mr. Chaotic shall have many important duties in the fort. He is our novice miner, our competent mason, a novice building designer, an adequate stone crafter. Now, Sir Chaotic, I have put a tiny bit of skill in miner, but not much, because typically mining is a very easy skill to rise. Even early on, it's a fairly quick one to pull up, but Mason, not as much, and certainly Stonecrafter, and they'll probably, when they're not digging, which will probably be most of the time, as there's only going to be one miner, they'll be trying to work on some craft initially, but we are obviously going to want some migrants pretty soon. Now, Sir Chaotic, let's have a quick look at you. It is important to discover yourself. Very well said. He personally deeply values introspection and deeply dislikes competition, so he'd probably get on quite well with Hamsteroo. He dreams of crafting a masterwork someday. Well, we certainly hope that you're going to be able to do that, Sir Chaotic, with your adequate stone craftering. I am just waiting for you to make some sort of legendary stone craft, and which we will sell, of course, for stupid dwarf bucks, or maybe just put in the Great Hall or something like that. Either way, it will be a dream that you will be able to achieve. Now, Skill Sniper is the son of Skiller and Tree Sniper, and is our novice woodcutter and our proficient carpenter. Now, I was debating this one a little bit because obviously a woodcutter tends to leave the safety of the fort to go and cut down and gather wood. A little bit worried about having our carpenter with that role. It's a very important role, carpenter. Incredibly important, in fact. But, well, you know, I feel that it is important that if they're going to be turning dead trees into things, they should have the experience of killing those trees. It's important to know where something has come from, especially something that you're going to turn into something beautiful. It might affect how they can do their job. Let's have a look at them. Everything is good. I'm very happy about that. He personally thinks it is of the utmost importance to present a bold face and never grouse or grouse. I'm not sure what that is. Complain or even show emotion. Values nature and sees introspection as important. I'm glad you value nature. That is why I'm going to insist that you kill the trees that you are then going to craft with. It seems the proper cycle of things. He dreams of creating a great work of art. I'm sure you will accomplish that dream, Skill Sniper. Now, Dark Dissonance is the daughter of Cognitive Dissonance and Dark Draker, and is a very important member of this fort. They will be milking, they will be shearing, they will be growing and harvesting, and also turning harvested plants into other usable things. Most of the skill has gone into growing and herbalist for obvious reasons. Now let's check them out. Why must they be so violent? It seems that we've got a very pacifist group here. Perhaps they've seen enough bloodshed in Cadenvere. She personally sees guile and cunning as indirect and somewhat worthless. She dreams of mastering a skill. I certainly hope that you master growing or herbalist. It seems like a fairly easy skill to master considering how much you're going to be doing of it. Now, Parafowl is the daughter of Para and Millionfowl. Millionfowl, of course, the god of war from one of my earlier Let's Plays, that is Nomoria and Spider Slaughter. Parafowl is going to be our leader. They have adequate negotiator, novice judge of intent, adequate appraiser, novice organizer, novice record keeper, and adequate leader. I find that record keeper and organizer tend to level up fairly quickly as you get them to do things. It does slow them down a little bit to begin with, but shouldn't be too bad. Now let's have a quick look at Parafowl. My goals are important to me. That is very good for a leader to feel that way. She personally sees competition as reasonably important and values self-control. She dreams of raising a family. We will see if we can't make that happen for you. Now, Samtan, the daughter of Samscale and Spartan. Samtan is, let's get down here, our brewer and our butcher, a very important dwarf for the colony. They are going to be responsible for making sure that everyone is stupidly drunk as often as is possible. But when they're not brewing something, they can also pitch in with the butchering. It's a bit of a secondary job for both my cooker and my brewer. My cook and my brewer, my chef, I should say. Now let's check on Santan. I've been well. I'm glad to hear that. She personally respects perseverance and respects the law. I am very glad to hear that. We will not be having any crazy vampires draining people of blood in this fort, I should hope. Though starting in a terrifying place, maybe that was is more of an inevitability than anything else. She dreams of crafting a masterwork someday. Well, maybe masterwork. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Maybe you'll make a legendary wine that will be kept bottled and pride of place on the mantle over the great hearth that will fill our great hall. Now, finally, Rocknar, the son of Rock and Edna, is a competent weaponsmith, adequate armorsmith, metalsmith, and competent metal crafter. They are going to be dealing pretty much with all of the smithing work in the fort, and let's check them out. How can people be so glum? I often ask myself the same question, Rocknar. He personally sees guile and cunning as indirect and somewhat worthless. He dreams of mastering a skill. I certainly hope you will master a skill, given the skills that you're going to be practicing. Now, finally, the last part of the setup is what we're going to be bringing with us. Now, you may be familiar with how I like to set up my Dwarf Fortress embarks from Cattenveer. That is, I tend to not bring along frivolous things like steel battle axes and picks. Certainly, picks are completely frivolous if they're steel or really anything other than copper, because it doesn't matter what quality they are as good at mining whatever metal they're made of. Certainly they'll do more damage if you wallop someone in the head with them, but hopefully we're not going to be getting to that quite so soon. Now, we are bringing a steel anvil because that is literally the only anvil that our civilization has to offer, but we are not bringing any tools. Instead, we are bringing 3 tetrahedrite. We are bringing enough bituminous coal and tower cap logs to start the forging industry. We're also bringing bauxite, which is a heat-safe stone to build a forge, a smelter, a wood furnace out of, on some tower cap logs to do 2 things. Firstly, the tower cap logs will start up our smelting, because we'll use 2 logs to make 1 batch of charcoal and use that charcoal to smelt all of the bituminous coal into coke, which we can then use to smelt the tetrahedrite into each tetrahedrite. Piece of tetrahedrite ore will make 4 bars of copper and possibly up to 4 bars of silver as well, which then we can use to make all of the axes and picks that we could possibly need. In fact, with that much tetrahedrite, we could possibly even put together some not as effective, but definitely better than cloth armor that one of our dwarves could wear just in case, or maybe even make a crossbow or something along those lines and start up a hunting industry. We are bringing along plenty of plump helmets that people are going to be encouraged to brew and thus get the seeds from, that they can supplement the other seeds we're bringing. We are definitely bringing some plump helmets spawn just to be on the safe side in case our dwarves go crazy and just decide to eat all the plump helmets or something like that, or I don't know, cook them all, so we don't have the seeds left over to actually use. But we've got 5 seeds of each type. We have 20 beer and 15 of all of the other dwarven drinks, which is dwarven rum, dwarven wine, and dwarven ale. We have some pigtail fiber thread cloth. That is going to be used primarily for our hospital industry if needed, so that we can suture wounds and clean them out with wet cloths. We've got some bags, just because I don't want to have to go to the effort of building up a cloth industry just to make the bags, so we'll bring those along, even though they're a little bit expensive. Ropes, the same sort of thing, but ropes are going to be very useful because we are going to want those for wells and for tethering our animals if necessary. We also have a fair bit of meat of different types, about 20 different pieces of meat, which will tide our dwarves over initially. Now, we are going to be taking along quite a lot of animals. I've decided that we're going to start off as best we can with a farming industry. We are going to bring 2 female dogs, 1 male dog. Hopefully we will get plenty of puppies and we will train these to war dogs or hunting dogs as the need arises. We are going to bring 1 cat and 1 kitten, 1 male cat, 1 female cat, so they can hopefully have kittens and they can keep our vermin population to a bare minimum, because no dwarves like vermin, and it also affects our food. We are bringing 1 ewe, 1 ram. They will allow us to breed some sheep. Now, the thing with ewes and rams is that they do graze, so we're going to need a little patch of grass for them, but hopefully not too much. The one thing I really like about the sheep is that we can shear them, so we will have a cloth industry even without pigtails. And also, we can obviously milk the ewe. We've also got a sow and a boar. Or is it sow and a boar? I can never remember. But basically, a female pig and a male pig, so we can have piglets. Now, the awesome thing with this is, again, we can milk the sow, and we can also put them anywhere, more or less, because they do not graze. Like dogs, they do not need vegetation to graze on. They just, I don't know, subsist on the air. But we can put them anywhere in a small stable and it'll be fine and they can breed. And so that will be a very good meat industry over time. And of course, cheese and milk. And finally, 2 turkey hens and 1 turkey gobbler so that we can get plenty of eggs. And that is it. That is our embark. it is time to go. We're not going to name the group. We're not going to name the fortress. I'm going to leave this to fate to decide. And let us hope that fate decides on something pretty nice for us. E for embark. Now comes the really nervous part where I think, is it going to crash? Because I've spent like an hour doing this. I would cry. But I would only cry for a moment, as I have saved this profile. Havoc is not as nuts as he was last time. So should anything terrible happen, we should be okay. Fantastic, Dwarven Outpost. You have arrived after a journey from the mountain homes into the forbidding wilderness beyond your hearth. Your harsh trek has finally ended. Your party of 7 is to make an outpost for the glory of all of Dobar Mudash. There are almost no supplies left, but with stout labour comes sustenance, whether by bolt, plough, or hook. Provide for your dwarves. You are expecting a supply caravan just before winter entombs you. But it is spring now. Enough time to delve secure lodgings ere the dingo men, oh great, get hungry. A new chapter of dwarven history begins here at this place. Monangshorast. Drill dwyers strike the earth.